Your TV signal's weak. Before you buy a new antenna, try this and old plug 2 wires and a clever little trick you'll want to remember. You don't need fancy parts or expensive gear for this one. Just a broken power plug, a couple of wires, and a few minutes of patience, that's all it takes. In this video, I'll show you how to turn something you already have at home into a working TV antenna that really does the job. Let's start simple. Take 2 pieces of wire, one black, one white. Strip off about ½ an inch of insulation from each end, just enough to expose the copper inside. Twist the strands together so they stay firm and neat. That'll give you a solid connection when we install them into the plug. Now grab that old 2-prong plug you've got lying around. Open it up carefully, you'll see 2 small screws inside. That's where we'll connect our wires. Take the white wire and slide the copper end under one screw, then tighten it down snugly. Do the same with the black wire on the other screw. Make sure the bare copper isn't sticking out anywhere. We want a clean, safe connection. Once both wires are secure, double check by giving them a light tug. If they don't move, you're good. Now place the cover back on and tighten the center screw to hold everything in place. The outer casing of the wire should sit snug in the plug. That keeps it from pulling loose later. And there you go, a sturdy, safe connection, ready for the next step. By the way, where are you watching from? I'd love to know where all our DIY fans are tuning in from. Now that our plug is ready, let's make a solid connection point. Take the free ends of the black and white wires and strip about ½ an inch of insulation off each one. Next, grab a bolt and slide on a washer that'll help distribute the pressure evenly. Wrap the exposed copper of the white wire around the bolt right between the washer and the nut. Then tighten it firmly. Do the same for the black wire on another bolt. Once both wires are secure, place the 2 bolts side by side and use a small piece of 3M tape to hold them together. This keeps everything steady and neat when you connect it to your antenna cable later. What you've got now are 2 clean, firm contact points, simple, solid, and ready to transfer signal just like store-bought connectors. Take a small wooden block and drill 2 holes just wide enough for the plug's prongs to fit through. Slide the plug in and make sure it stands firmly in place. This will keep your homemade antenna steady while you connect the rest. Alright, now it's time to bring in the coaxial cable, the same type your TV uses for regular antennas. Take one end of the cable and carefully strip away the outer insulation about an inch or so. You'll see 2 main parts inside the shiny braided wire, which acts as the ground or shield, and a smaller copper wire in the center that's your signal line. Twist the braided wire neatly so it doesn't fray and trim off any loose ends. Then, if you've got a coax connector for the TV side, go ahead and attach it now. Just slide it on and tighten the ring. That'll make it easier to plug in later. Now move to the other end of the cable. This is the one we'll connect to our homemade plug antenna. Strip back the outer layer again, separate the braided shield from the center copper wire, and make sure both are nice and clean. What we've done here is prepare both ends properly, one for the TV, one for our DIY connection. Take your time with this part. A good clean prep makes all the difference for signal strength and clarity later on. Now comes the fun part, putting it all together and seeing if our homemade antenna really works. Take the coaxial cable we prepared earlier. You'll notice two parts of the open end, the center copper wire and the braided outer layer. Connect the copper wire to one screw terminal on the plug and the braided shield to the other. Tighten both connections firmly so there's no loose contact that's key for getting a clean signal. Once everything's secure, double check that no wires are crossing or touching where they shouldn't. Then plug the coax connector on the other end straight into your TV's antenna input. Now switch on your TV and start the auto channel scan. You might be surprised, depending on where you are, you could pick up a dozen or more channels with nothing but this simple plug-and-wire setup. And if your signal's weak, try rotating the plug or raising it a bit higher. Sometimes a small adjustment can make a big difference. There you have it, a working antenna made from an old plug, a few scraps of wire, and a little creativity. Simple, affordable, and effective, just like the best DIY projects should be. And there you have it, a simple homemade antenna built from a plug and a few bits of wire, yet powerful enough to bring your TV back to life. Sometimes the best fixes come from what's already in your toolbox. If you enjoy this little project, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend who loves tinkering, and don't forget to subscribe for more creative DIY ideas. Thanks for watching. See you in the next build.